So the commissioner's office asked me to look into an incident.
Yep.
And I just had a couple questions for you.
Okay.
You're not in any trouble. I think I have a pretty good idea as to what transpired because I'm a MDW god.
Okie dokie.
But okay. So let me show you an incident number.
Oh, spicy. Commissioner's office incident. What is it?
It's going to be incident number.
Is it mine?
88434.
I typed it in before you said it. Yep.
Tails, could you just give us just like 5 minutes? Awesome. All right. So what I think, so the question that came into play, hold on, let me open this.
Yeah.
What was the number again?
88434. Corrupt.
So keep this in mind. I don't know what the fuck's been going on the last 2 weeks. So I kind of was asked to look into this. I looked at it, looked through the report. Just frankly, just by looking at this. So the belief was, it sounded like it was just a bunch of dumb shit that was drummed up, which was, oh my God, there might be MDW fraud, which I don't think that was the case. I think what happened was, I think you had processed Audrey Webster, and for some reason, someone, I think it was Rudy, believed that he should have been processed, but he wasn't, and that there was a warrant, but the warrant was unticked. But I'm presuming that you probably added some new charges and it just unticked the warrant. Or you intentionally unticked it.
Okay. Let me try and go from the beginning. So this was a scene that happened 5 days ago. It was a shooting at Roosters, and it was GG versus Roosters. At the time, we had obviously all 4 of these people in custody. I had heard that there was a lot of shootings versus Roosters happening, and two of these people had hot guns and warrants, all both with like 4 to 6 each. So it was a lot of work. I also had obviously, so there was Rudy, and then there was like a solo cadet and Monroe, and a lot of them needed hand holding. So it was a lot of work at the time. Honestly, they were in the cells for like 4 hours. It was really long. We interrogated pretty much all of them. Frankie didn't want to speak. I helped Tackleberry to interrogate Dickhead. I interrogated Forehead myself. And Monroe interrogated Sydney. And after all of that, I decided to not push any charges at the time, which we're within our right to do. I said to them, we've got 60 days to push these charges. What I'm going to do is talk to a bunch of people and get more information so I fully understand what's going on, because I was worried that there may be a further investigation for like possibility of the Rust Act, because I've been hearing that Roosters had been getting hit up a lot. So I wanted to find out, 1, exactly how the Rust Act worked and whether what I charged and all that kind of stuff had an effect on it. 2, I wanted to see if anyone who was actually investigating, if they had any more information for me, if it was like super important of what I charged, if there was anything else I was missing. So I basically just took my right to charge them within 60 days and left it like that. And so then after that, we've had a few days. I spoke to multiple people. I spoke to
so she was
Nikki,
being a good cop.
Brandy, Stubbs, Odessa about the other side of it. A few other people, and then came to the conclusion that it was okay, that I could charge them, and it would. Oh, and I heard from Odessa that it's important that we get their pleas for if we do want to push the Rust Act in the future. So then I went through the charges. Sid did have a charge on her of Oxy, but since coming on the scene, she got GSR tested. She was positive, so she got searched, but her gun was a legal one. So therefore, we shouldn't have really, we can't charge her for the Oxy because the rest of the search, we didn't really have the PC for the rest of the search. So her charge, so I took her charge off and she didn't charge for anything. And then the rest, the only thing that may have changed was their possessions were all the exact same as they were before. The only thing that changed was assault with a deadly. I just decided to go with assault with a deadly because I thought that was the thing that I could push in court, and then put warrants out for all 3 of them. And so then it looks like Frank and Dickhead have both been processed for their warrants. It looks like I think Dickhead's going to push it in court. And then Forehead, I need to investigate slightly because it says at the top of the report that Suarez served the warrant, but it is unticked on pled guilty and unticked on processed, and I don't know why. So I don't know what's happening with that. Need to talk to Suarez. Haven't caught him yet.
All right, hell yeah. So I want to first off say that as far as I'm concerned, you did what I wish everyone did.
Okay, good to know. I feel like people get confused because I just took this opportunity to actually use the 60 days, and then when I was more confident, I pushed charges. I didn't want to push them when I wasn't too confident in it. There's
an inherent ignorance that runs through the veins of those that tend to only handle incident by incident.
Yeah.
And so I can understand why it gets confusing. It gets brought up a lot. It's why I ended up putting up that because I know Juno got a bunch of shit for doing the right thing, but
yeah,
not everyone understand. Like I don't, it's just, on the juice. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. But that makes sense. One thing that you should be aware of is apparently there was a super hot gun. If you could open up incident report. (88720). So there was a Python that was found in this incident that came where the evidence was like improperly logged. Now, how I was able to find this, so Suarez told me about the Python. He gave me the serial number for it. But the problem was that serial number, like whoever entered the evidence for it, had wiped all the evidence. So like they didn't put the report number, like the evidence was improperly filed. So that incident that I just gave you, I managed to find the incident by like tracking the evidence ID numbers, right? So you look at the evidence ID number and then you keep iterating back in the incident. I need to find out who entered all that evidence. They need to then be spoken to. And then finally, we also need to understand how all that, there's like 25 pieces of evidence, maybe 30, and there's 0 photographs of the scene. The problem is that gun is so fucking hot that that alone probably would have gotten these motherfuckers like a shitload of charge.
So are you saying that the gun that Forehead had on my scene came back to this one?
I believe so. Yes. Yes, it was Forehead. Forehead had like a Python that is like omega hot. But because the evidence was incorrectly added by God knows who.
So it wouldn't have come up for me then when I was searching.
Correct.
Fuck. Okay.
Well, it would have come up, but then let me make sure it was Forehead. Let me see. Maybe was it the Deagle? Let me see. One sec. I thought it was a Python. Maybe I'm like misremembering. It wasn't the. Was it Foreheads?
What was this one?
720.
Oh well, so I had the Deagle. Forehead had the Deagle.
I'm looking it up right now.
I think it was a Deagle. Wait, these are all down as different things. I've got it down as a Browning.
Oh my god, yeah, they're all scuffed out. Yeah, Suarez has got a bit more information on it, but whoever entered that evidence into that report I gave you, we got to find out who it is. Is that something you could help me do? Just because I think you were on that scene, possibly. If you're just able to figure out like who the fuck entered the evidence, and then just like tell them, like I don't know. How's it been these last 2 weeks?
It's been all right, not too bad. So wait, let me write this down. So 88720, find out who put the evidence in and let them know it was inputted wrong.
Yeah, I would say We need to find out who it is, show them how to enter evidence correctly, including photographs. And then we should probably strike them as well, to be honest.
Okay.
Because that gun is so omega hot that, you know, I mean, you know what I'm thinking? I want to get your take on this. I was considering today looking through these incident reports that don't even have dates. Pushing, talking to Toretti and seeing if we can get like an announcement up and be like, this is the SOP. You need to get the titles and the evidence entered correctly. From here on out, if it's not done and we see it, 5 strike points.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I feel like that little change would make a huge difference, especially with all the stuff that people are working on.
Definitely, because I was trying to look through for all of these like Rust GG things, and I noticed some that didn't have any dates on them as well, which is very important. They had the juice on this one. Do you know about the juice?
Yes. Yeah, it helps. Is that the one that gets people up?
Yeah, that's the one.
I think it was like
Tails was telling me they tried it. Yeah, it's like heroin of some kind, but it.
Wait, who tried it?
Well, Tails. Who was it? Was it Bison that said that he wanted to try it? I think she said Bison, and then so I think he tried it out, and then they figured out what it did. You can ask her for more information.
Oh my god, maybe that's what she wanted to talk to me about.
It probably is, yeah. Most likely. I see Tackleberry started this report. I'll ask him first. He's a cadet that gets kind of chucked into a little situation by the seams of it because he's willing to do evidence and stuff. So I'll ask him first.
Hell yeah. If anyone brings up this like MDW corruption stuff or whatever, feel free to just send them directly to me because, like I said, it came from the commissioner's office. So
I don't see.
I just don't like when, you know, anyone gets asked like a million times because it's just an indicator that there's, you know, hallway gossip or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, of course. It must have been Dickhead's weapon because I don't see my.
I don't even see it in evidence anymore, so I'm like confused again.
Where's the other weapons? There was a Browning from Dickhead, and that was 109 HLA. Yeah, I'm confused because I don't see either of them coming back to this.
Yeah, I gotta ask him. Maybe he like took it out of evidence and put it back in because now I'm like omega confused.
Yeah, who found it? Oh, you said it was from the commissioner's office.
So Suarez brought it up.
Suarez.
I think he got confused because I think he was like processing one of them, and then Rudy called him, and it was just like it was a typical case of like, hey, let's not, you know. It was a typical case of like, instead of talking to the individuals involved, just thinking the worst case.
Yes, and I need to talk to Suarez anyway. He might be subject to some strike points. I'll be honest. There's also another. Well, he's the one that supposedly has dealt with the warrant from my scene, but it's not pled guilty or processed. So I need to find out what's happened with that one. And then you could get strike points for that. But there was also another report that Dickhead's gun came back to, and he said that he'd been charged by Nakoda and Suarez, but the report was a little bit like it just barely had anything in it, and it wasn't processed. His name was in there, but it was just one random charge in it. So I need to talk to him about that too.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I get it, the city, you know, turns on fire or whatever, but if we're not like dotting our I's and crossing our T's, I mean, that's how we end up getting fucked up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You want a 3-hour like bench trial with a shit verdict, or spend an extra like 15-20 minutes at doing it right the first time?
Exactly. That's the thing. That's my kind of thing with it. I would rather take a bit more time and get it right than just rush it and do it wrong.
100%.
Definitely. But aside from that, yeah, it's not been too bad.
What do you know what's going on with Juno? Because that's the other thing I got to look into is like, I guess she was screamed at about stuff and then told a bunch of incorrect shit on scenes that she wasn't even involved in.
I see. Well, from what I know about her is she's investigating the Mandem versus Roosters or Mandem versus Lang and Friends side of things. And she's the one that asked me to put up that bulletin that she got asked by Bobby to do. And then aside from that, I haven't really talked to her too much. I don't know whether to mention the Discord stuff.
I can ask her.
Sorry?
It's fine. I could ask her. I just don't know any of the details. I just know because Snow had mentioned it, and that's when I put the updated below. We had to remove the thing. I think there's some like miscommunication. Yeah, well,
everything I put into the command chat is pretty much most I know. Yeah, basically, I think she's kind of had her fingers pointed at her a lot, and she has kind of had to have a backup on things that wasn't necessarily her. That are out of her control. But yeah, she says she's ready. She's willing to speak whenever. I would say probably best speak to her. For sure.
Hell yeah. I am so scared to go on patrol. I got like so much shit to like look up.
10-7. Be like Stubbs. 10-7 forever.
I think that's what I'm going to do, actually. All right. I appreciate it, Candice. Thank you very much.
Of course. Let me know if you need anything else, okay?
Will do.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think I'm going to invite Candice into Strike Team for MCU after hearing all that.
An MCU invite? What?